Okay. Hello. Hello, world. Thanks for listening to my personal podcast program, Music and Math Podcast. Today is the third episode in this year, 2023. It's January 14th, Saturday, and I'm talking in English because this episode is the English episode. As you know, this podcast program I'm making, we have five categories of episode type. This one, so-called English episode, I talk in English and talk to the world, obviously. And other four categories are in Japanese. Of course, this is podcast, so anybody in the world can listen to my program anywhere. But how many people who can understand Japanese? I don't know. So basically, other four episodes are for Japanese people, local people. I'm living in Japan. And the rest of those four categories are normal talk podcast episode in Japanese. And the other one, one of them, piano episode where I post my playing. I'm practicing piano. I'm learning by myself. I want to learn someone for jazz piano, but I couldn't find a teacher yet. So yeah, and I'm practicing by myself, and I'm sharing my playing, and I talk about that or the music as well. That's piano episode. And the rest two categories are the music episode. In this Anchor platform, they provide system so-called Music Plus Talk, where we, podcaster, can use commercial music legally. And we can, broadcast music program like a radio program. And every once in a while, I make this music episode. And that episode is distributed only on the Spotify platform according to this copyright stuff of the music. And I also want to talk about the selection of the music. So the last category is some talk episode about the music plus talk. So those five categories are in the cycle of my podcast program releasing. So today is the English term in this cycle. And from this year, I decided the release cycle in a regular way. That is that every Friday night in Japan local time, I release each episode once in a week. So, roughly speaking, as I said, I have five categories in cycle. So almost every month, I talk about those five categories, roughly. We'll see. This is the third episode in this regular releasing way. So the releasing time is then next Friday, so 20th of January. Yesterday night was the release date of the second episode of season 2. And I'm recording the third episode today, Saturday. Okay, so today's topic, I only decided, and before start recording, I only decided that, okay, let's record English episode and that's it. So let me think. Okay, this is the first episode in this year in English. So every year, I don't know about you, but I usually decide, or how to say, make a New Year's resolution every year. I guess last 10 years or something. Yeah, this is because I organize English conversation group circle with friends who want to do this English conversation training, exercising, practicing. The group name is Speak Easy. I think it's a good name. I'm living in Kanazawa. And Japanese has several dialects, of course. And here in Kanazawa, there is Kanazawa Ben, Kanazawa dialect. And here people say easy, like a easy. And the meaning, I'm a foreigner here in Kanazawa, So I don't know the Kanazawa band. And easy, the meaning of easy is like, isn't it good? Or something like that, checking, confirming something good. It must be good, something like that. Of course, speak easy is good for the local community for learning English conversation, first of all. But at the same time, this easy part is somehow connected to Kanazawa band. So it's really fit good for our group. So that's why we pick the name as that. But anyway, this group was made by my wife how many years ago? 2010. Yeah, 2010. And around that time, I was not in the group at the beginning. But at some point in that year, I guess, within a year from the beginning, I was called from my wife that please join the group. Yeah, because the number of members, participants, in short at the time. So I was asked and I joined that. Since then, I keep participating the group, and at some point, I took over the organizing part. So now I'm still organizing, helping people, gathering. In that group, we have a meeting twice in a month to speak each other in English. And every year, the first meeting was a kind of, how to say, speech session where everybody make a speech about each person's New Year's resolution. And that's why last 10 years or something, I need to make a resolution rather explicit way. And it's interesting, this English Speak Easy group is running regularly twice in a month all those 13 years. Yeah, that's quite long. So the first meeting of the year, we declare each person's New Year's resolution, the goal for that specific year, right? Automatically, at the end, the very last meeting of the year, it's the topic, how your goals are. What happened about that resolutions? It's kind of fun, And as a matter of fact, my goals each year, especially in the last 5 years or something, things are fixed. Every year, basically, my goal is almost the same. Like, I want to be healthy so that I run regularly, and also I want to practice piano more, kind of thing, and yeah, something like that every year for last 5 years, something. But as you know, last year, 2022, things are moving in a little bit different way from the years. That is, I'm talking about this podcast. This is a new try for me. And it is totally a new thing. And in this podcast, as I explained before, I show my playing of piano. I'm not good at that. You can listen to that. I'm practicing, basically, not playing to the people. I'm just practicing. So it's not the complete form, and I'm just posting those rather terrible playing. But this is good. I think for my practice, it definitely accelerates my learning, I think. It's a new stuff, and I'm really happy with that. Okay, let's go back to this year's resolution. Okay, 2023. What's my goal or goals for this year? We've already had a meeting last Saturday, 1 week ago. Every Saturday, not every Saturday. First and third Saturdays, basically, we have a meeting, Zoom meeting these days, according to this COVID situation. So I declared already this year's my resolution. Where's my notebook? Okay, I talk about my resolutions here. I have how many? As in entries, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kind of thing. But I split those goals into 3 parts. 2 of them are personal. 1 of them, the last part. The third one is not very personal, but more like for the world kind of thing. And for the first two personal goals, the reason why I split into two for the personal goals are like, as I said, there is a regular goals. In other words, the goals not for 1 year period of time, but maybe last longer or need longer time than 1 year, so that every year I'm putting the same stuff. That is the regular goal I set. And the other one is a new goals, shorter one, or specifically for this year. Okay, so for regular goals, as I said before, there are three goals. One is the piano. I want to practice more piano, learning piano more. The second one is meditation. Sometimes, I'm not sure in English episode, but in this podcast program, I talk about my recent interest on the Buddhism, closely related to the mindfulness movement at the very beginning. I was curious, especially that started a few years ago. 2 years ago or something. And I start studying, reading some books, and I'm curious still. And I want to continue this, reading, studying, practicing, those stuff. The third one is about this podcast program. This is new stuff, begins last year, and I think it's good for me. As I said sometimes again, before coming back to Japan especially, I keep writing a blog, although sometimes, most of the time, I didn't post to the public internet, but I keep writing blog, diary kind of stuff on my computer since I was 20s, late 20s, I think. Around that time, I was a researcher, so basically I keep writing what I'm doing at that time, precisely for that job part. That's a serious one, but at the same time, I'm writing my general thinking, normal blog type of things since those late 20s to like 40s. But somehow, when I came back to Japan, that was 2009, I stopped writing. Maybe because I was busy. Then, last 5 years or something, I keep saying that I need to restart writing blog to, writing is almost equivalent to thinking, right? Without writing out of your brain, things are so confused inside your brain, right? Thinking. So I really feel that I need to organize my thinking, general thinking. I tried, but maybe I was busy. But this podcast, when I start podcasting, in other words, when I start talking, as I said, I'm just sitting and start recording without any preparation. So basically, what I'm talking is almost like thinking, I realize. Finally, it's obvious, right? But now I realize that. That realization is coming when I start using AI model for transcribing my talking. Before that, I just record my talking, and after recording, I edit for the podcast, and then post my edited talking to the podcast, to the internet, to the world. I didn't feel that my mind, my brain is not clear. It's not working as I wrote a blog, But I rather feel like my talking is just gone to the air or something like that. But after using this OpenAI's transcribing model, voice to text model called the Whisper, it does a very good job for the transcribing, not only for English talking, but Japanese talking as well. The quality is very impressive. Of course, in details or some specific words or something, I need to fix stuff if I really need to use that text for some formal use. But just putting as transcript of my podcast program, that would be acceptable in a way. Of course, as I said, there are some mistakes or something, but as a rough transcription draft kind of level, it's okay. And I start putting those transcription into the corresponding WordPress pages. Then, after that, all of a sudden I realized that, okay, so this is the blog. I'm talking, but the talking is the blogging. And this is a different way, but the way to organize your mind, your brain. I realized that finally. So I like to continue this habit, this activity more this year too. Those three goals are so-called personal regular goals, continuing goals, okay? And so the new goals, the second part, there are two goals I set. One is that I want to make my own vinyl record. That's a new goal, one of them. The other new goal is I want to write not only write, okay, I want to sell an English book on Amazon. That's the second new goal. Both of them are like creating stuff. Okay, for the first one, making personal vinyl record, I'm not talking about the regular LP size vinyl record. My personal time scales are very slow these days. I bought some toy 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, 2020. There is a magazine called 大人の科学, the science magazine for adult. This magazine has a big, Furoku we say. Furoku is about, it's a magazine basically. When I was a kid, let's say 40 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, for kids, there is a magazine for education, basically. Every month, the magazines are released. Each one of those magazines, there is some kit of toy. The theme of that magazine is science education. So, sometimes the toy is like a binocular, sometimes the microscope, sometimes some simple radio or something like that. Each month, kids get a kit. So kids need to make a toy by themselves. That magazine I bought 2020, that was a kind of revival. The publishers are the same, but the target is for an adult or grown-ups like me, who get used to the magazine 30, 40 years ago. Okay, so the toy of that magazine, 2020, is the toy record maker. So you can't imagine, but last year, the famous Sweden musical instrument synthesizer maker called Teenage Engineering released basically the same toy collaborating with that creator. So you can buy basically the same one. The model name is PO80, I guess. You can Google it. So I have that. I didn't make, because it's a kit, I need to build by myself. Not difficult, but I need to do that. So first of all, I need to make that toy record maker. But my goal of this year that is with that, we can make a small size vinyl record by myself. That's the plan. I want to make my own custom handmade vinyl record. That's one new goals. Another one, I want to sell a book, paper book. That's the point. On Amazon these days, individuals can sell their own book in an electronic format called Kindle book. And the last few years, Amazon offer for those individuals the way to make a paper book. The Amazon print books for those individuals. It's called print on demand service. So all you need is a PDF file. And I made a paper book on Amazon already. It's written in Japanese, so it's a Japanese book. If you are interested in, you can buy my paper book already. But the plan for this year is like, okay, I want to sell. Amazon is a worldwide book shop, right? So if I wrote my book in English, I can sell my book to the world, right? And it's interesting, right? So my plan for this year is like I translate first my book, one of my book, into English, then put on Amazon, this print on demand service, so people can buy my paper book through Amazon. Isn't it interesting? That's my two goals, new goals. Those 5 entries are my personal goals for 2023. And the last goal for this year about the world, not personal, but for this world. And that goal is, of course, obviously, peace and love. I picked this word, peace and love, from a record, Black Radio. The very first one. At the beginning of that record, I think I didn't buy CD or vinyl. I only listened to that music through YouTube. Sorry for that. But the first introduction of the album, the song name is left off and there is some talking, narration. I like that, the voice and the feeling. A guy talking to the listener. He start his talking by peace and love, and I really think that literally is the missing part of current world. Last year, 2022, was a kind of for me, I think I summarize that year was the year of violence, and I don't like that. And for this year, I want to normalize that, direction into the better way. That is peace and love. Yeah. Anyway, it's not only a worldwide level, but here in Japan, I feel that kind of, year of violence thing. Of course, I can't correct it, but anyway, okay, I don't know how to summarize this part. But those are my goals for this year. We'll see what happens maybe in the last episode of this podcast program this year. We'll see. Okay, so how long I'm talking? 40 something. Yeah, any other topic I want to talk? So I okay. The last year, from other aspect, from other point of view, the last year, 2022, was the year of AI or computer power. What I'm talking is the diffusion model, making illustration from a text prompt. That was impressive, and shortly after the appearance of those text-to-image models, we just saw the application not only to the image creation, but the others application, including video creation, audio creation, music creation, movie creation, 3D model creation kind of thing. And lastly, we just saw so-called chat GPT model, or we should say the language model, large language model. That is, that hits at some level, I think. And then, as in the diffusion model hits some point for image creation, and now we realize that, okay, making an illustration, the picture by illustrator, artist, the, image quality, not the background stories or something, but the image quality looks like competing or the same level. And once we feel that on a technical level it's the same, then situation, realization, the way of thinking changed. We just experienced that, right? And that happen also on the other side. The language model create a text, right? And the text we wrote and the text the AI model create looks almost the same. Put aside the meaning, the depth of the meaning or something like that. It looks like the same. And sometimes it is also, the content is almost truth, right? And the way interfacing is also improving, like, chat GPT prepare a chat interface, right? So things move drastically. And I think the last year breaks some barrier, I think, or something. This year, that improvement, that progress would accelerate because computer never get tired, right? And people's curiosity driving those progress, and nobody can stop that power. So we'll see something more definitely in this year and in a few years. The reason why I bring this topic now is like, I was thinking with this situation, what can we do? What can I do? I was thinking, I'm an engineer, especially those AI development or some other programming in general I'm doing for my job. I'm in the R&D section of a small company. So yeah, well, I'm thinking, what can I do something different from other people, something different from others, companies, right? And I saw that last week or something, Microsoft invest a huge amount of money to the OpenAI, right? The amount of money, it's so different from my starting point. I'm working in a small company, and obviously we cannot compete with them at the level of those cutting edge stuff. And those cutting edge AI research field expand rapidly, and we human beings will get much more progress before, right? I don't know how Microsoft will share their result with us or not. Yeah, and what I want to say is like, we like a normal people, normal engineer, can use some API or services which was provided by those big, giant, rich companies, right? But that is nothing special, right? It's provided. And competing with those tools, each other, is nothing interesting, simply speaking, right? And, in that situation, so yeah, I'm asking to myself, what is meaningful stuff? What is the value of those words where AI can generate beautiful pictures? AI can generate a beautiful music. AI can generate beautiful book even. Yeah, what is the value we human being put? And then I think, yeah, the real stuff is the most valuable thing, don't you think? Yeah, computer generated pictures are beautiful, maybe purer, I think. But at that time, so the computer can generate a lot of those things, meaning that those computer generated beautiful pictures are less valuable. So what is valuable in that situation? Then the real picture, real world is the only variable stuff. Human creation, handmade stuff is limited. That is, yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I'm just talking, and this is nothing. I don't want to make some statement, but that's my feeling. Maybe, yeah. Of course, as an engineer, I'm curious about progress of technology, but the reason why I'm practicing piano, that is a very, interesting situation or subject, I think. As I said, even without AI model, these days, computer created music was all over the places, right? In the supermarket, there is a BGM. Those are basically, it depends on the situation. But here in Japan, if we go into the supermarket, there is some BGM, background music. That was some pop song in a special form arrangement. That is, popular music are basically songs. Some idols, some artists, musicians sing by their voice. But in the supermarket, the song is the same, but it's a copy, a legal copy, I think, and played with the computer sound instrumental music. Maybe because the voice is so distracting and the instrumental music is more like easy listening for the supermarket environment, I think. But it's a computer playing music, so the timing, the tempo was solid in a sense, right? The pitch, it's perfect, of course, because it's most likely based on the MIDI file. So it's perfect, but it's nothing interesting, nothing moving. And, for the classical music, we have a score and we have a sequencer on the computer, personal computer. So we can play precise way of the classical music, precise direction, the tempos and the volume, that kind of thing. It's possible, the perfect playing. But I'm asking you, is it moving? Is it special? And I don't think so. So the point is that those techniques, the preciseness, it has no value in the near future or even now, I think. That means that, practicing piano in tempo or without mistakes on the score, isn't it meaningful? Is it? We have a sequence on the computer, and if you have a score, I don't want to be a computer. That's the thing, right? So why I am practicing piano? I want to understand the music, right? Why this sound beautiful, this sequence, this chord progressions are beautiful, or what is that chord sequence? I don't understand that. And I want to understand that. Then if I really understand that, maybe I can speak through piano. That's the goal, maybe very distant goal, but that's the whole goal. And it's also applicable to the speaking, I think, right? I'm not properly trained for speaking. And there are many professional people for the radio station or TV screen, right? And if we have a manuscript in front of you, there is again the same technical part exists there. How to speak clearly, precisely, that kind of thing, right? And the professionals are aiming for that, I think. Actors also, I'm not sure. But nowadays computer can speak very fluently. So if you provide manuscript to the computer can speak without mistakes, right? So the perfectness is not the point for those speaking or speech, I think. I'm talking now, and this way is far from perfect, but I think it's the way I'm practicing the piano. I want to play piano as I speak. Now I'm talking to the microphone without manuscript. I'm thinking and talking, right? Yeah, I don't know what happened in the in the future where the computer skill levels are, I don't know. There are many books about the future. Yeah, actually, I talk about this topic at the very beginning of this podcast program. That might be in a Japanese episode, I think. I was kind of depressed with reading those books about the future where AI is getting cleverer than ours. What happened? Are they taking over us, or are they? It's so depressing, and I'm sick and tired reading that. That was 2 years ago or something, and I stopped reading that. But now things are moving on, of course, and as I said, and it is coming, right? Yeah, what happened then? It's not a fine topic, but okay. We'll see. And yeah, maybe computer will help us understanding something we can't understand before. the computer might help our intelligence better, then we'll see some other aspect which we've never imagined, we've never able to imagine before. Yes. Okay, I talk too much. I stop here. So this is the English episode, and I will come back, as I said, next month. So see you then, and peace and love.